Bob Marley is more than a music icon. He is a symbol of resistance, unity, and the power of song to move hearts across the globe. Yet, behind the legendary dreadlocks and infectious rhythms, his final days tell a story few know in detail. From battling illness to reflecting on life, Marley faced challenges that contrasted sharply with the joy he brought to millions. In this video, we take a closer look at those last moments, the decisions he made, and the enduring impact of his music. Stick around because the story is as human as it is unforgettable. The rise of a legend. Bob Marley didn't start out as a global superstar. He was born Robert Nesta Marley on February 6, 1945, in a quiet village called 9 Miles in rural Jamaica. His parents came from very different worlds. His father was a white Jamaican of English descent, and his mother was black Jamaican. That mix shaped Marley's early life and perspective on the world. When Marley was still a child, his family moved to Kingston, to a community called Trenchtown. Trenchtown was poor, rough, and crowded, but it was also full of energy, with deep musical roots and a strong sense of community. Despite the harsh conditions, Marley found inspiration everywhere. At a young age, Bob dropped out of school and worked as a welder. It wasn't glamorous, but it taught him discipline and gave him a perspective that would later influence his music. He also started hanging out with Joe Higgs, a local singer and mentor, at Higgs's yard in Trenchtown. Through Higgs, Bob met two people who would become lifelong collaborators: Neville "Bunny" Livingston, later Bunny Wailer, and Peter Tosh. These friends shared his vision. Music was not just an escape, but a voice for change. By the early 1960s, the trio formed a vocal group that would eventually become the Wailers. The early Wailers leaned into ska and rocksteady, genres bubbling on the streets of Kingston, energized by American R&B filtered through local traditions. Their first big moment came at Studio One, where they recorded "Simmer Down," a song that spoke directly to the frustration and hope of Trenchtown youth. The track was raw, urgent, and it resonated deeply. Part of what made Marley different was his ability to combine street-level authenticity with spiritual conviction. He was exposed to Rastafarian beliefs early on, and Rastafari would become a central theme in his music and identity. He lived in a way that reflected those ideals even as his fame started to grow. As the Wailers' sound matured, they began to make bigger waves. With catchy melodies, thoughtful lyrics, and a political heart, they caught the attention of producers. They pushed reggae forward, blending social commentary with soulful rhythms. Over time, Marley's voice, both literally and figuratively, became a megaphone for change. By his mid-20s, Bob Marley was no longer just a kid from Trenchtown. His songwriting had sharpened, his vision had clarity, and his ambition was real. He wasn't just singing about poverty or struggle. He was asking for justice, unity, and peace. And people were listening. Marley and the Wailers released more music, toured, and gained traction far beyond Jamaica. He recorded album after album, laying the groundwork for a global legacy. Even as things grew, Marley never forgot where he came from. Trenchtown stayed in his heart and in his songs like "No Woman, No Cry" and "Trenchtown Rock." In short, Marley's rise was not just about talent. It was about grit, community, and a voice that could speak to both the streets and the soul. That foundation would carry him all the way to the heights of music history. Touring and triumph. After establishing himself in Jamaica, Bob Marley and the Wailers began to make waves internationally. Their music was no longer confined to local airwaves. By the mid-1970s, Marley had a growing global audience hungry for the messages of love, unity, and social justice embedded in his songs. Touring became both a necessity and a challenge. Every stage was a chance to connect with fans, but it also meant constant travel, long flights, and the physical demands of performing night after night. The US, Europe, and Africa quickly became regular stops on Marley's itinerary. His performances were high energy and magnetic. People didn't just come for the music, they came for the experience, the feeling that Marley's music could transport them to another emotional space. On stage, he had a way of turning a simple guitar riff or drum beat into a communal experience. Fans sang along, danced, and sometimes cried during songs like Exodus or Redemption Song. Touring was not without its hurdles. The The road was grueling, and Marley was already showing signs of health issues that would later become serious. Long bus rides between cities, late-night performances, and irregular meals could have broken anyone, but Marley pushed through. His bandmates recalled the dedication. If something had to be done, Bob would handle it, often juggling musical responsibilities with management duties. Despite the challenges, Marley's concerts became legendary. He played in small clubs in Kingston, and then stadiums with tens of thousands of fans abroad. Each performance was an opportunity to spread a message and energize communities. In London, one of his first major European performances drew crowds that were not only diverse, but intensely passionate. People from all walks of life were drawn to his music and the spirit behind it. Back home in Jamaica, Marley's success had a different impact. Touring meant spending long periods away from family and friends, which weighed on him. Yet he remained connected to his roots, often reflecting on Trenchtown and his early life during interviews and performances. This connection made his music authentic. It was not a product of marketing, but of lived experience. Marley also became known for his calm humor on tour. He could diffuse tense situations with a joke or a sly grin, and his charm kept morale high among crew and fans alike. Stories from fellow musicians reveal that even when things went wrong, equipment failures, missed flights, or hostile crowds, Marley maintained an air of serenity, as if the music itself was a shield against life's chaos. The tour circuit also solidified Marley's image as a symbol of resilience. Seeing him perform while visibly tired or ill made fans admire him even more. He was not invincible, but he was committed to his art and his message. Every show strengthened his legend and prepared the ground for the iconic albums and performances that would define the late 1970s. By the end of this period, Bob Marley was not just a musician, he was a phenomenon. The tours had expanded his reach, spread his philosophy, and allowed him to see firsthand how powerful music could be as a unifying force. For Marley, every city, every stage, every fan was part of a larger tapestry of connection, love, and change, even if he never used the word tapestry in a speech. Health issues arise. By the late 1970s, Bob Marley's schedule was relentless. Between touring, recording, and managing the Wailers, there was little time for rest. It was during this period that Marley first began experiencing health issues that would eventually play a significant role in his life. In 1977, during a routine soccer match, Marley injured his toe. What seemed like a minor injury would later reveal a more serious problem beneath the surface. Doctors discovered that Marley had a form of melanoma, a type of skin cancer, located under the nail of his toe. The diagnosis came as a shock. Marley was relatively young, in his early 30s, and physically fit. At first, he sought conventional treatments, including surgery to remove the affected tissue. While the initial intervention appeared successful, the cancer was aggressive, and it had already begun to spread. Marley's approach to his health reflected his personality and beliefs. He was cautious, but not panicked. He combined medical advice with holistic approaches, including elements of his Rastafarian faith. There are stories that Marley also explored natural remedies and dietary changes, aiming to strengthen his body through lifestyle choices. This blend of conventional and alternative care reflected a deeper philosophy. His body was his instrument, and maintaining it was essential to continue sharing his music and message. Despite the diagnosis, Marley did not slow down immediately. He continued touring and recording, driven by passion and purpose. Friends and bandmates noticed that even as he endured fatigue and discomfort, Marley remained determined to perform at full capacity. He would often joke about minor aches, downplaying their severity, and maintaining his legendary calm and humor. His resilience was remarkable, though it came at a cost. The cancer's progression also forced Marley to make difficult decisions. He had to balance the demands of fame with his personal well-being. Interviews and accounts from those close to him reveal a man who was both pragmatic and deeply reflective. Marley considered the impact of his illness not only on himself, but on his family, bandmates, and fans. He sought to protect their morale while navigating the uncertainty of his condition. This period marked a turning point. While Marley's health was compromised, his artistry remained sharp. Some of the music recorded during this time, including tracks for the Exodus album, carries an urgency and depth that many interpret as reflections on mortality, resilience, and hope. Marley's voice, both musically and spiritually, grew stronger as he confronted his vulnerability. Ultimately, Marley's health challenges added complexity to his life story. They were a reminder that even icons are human, subject to illness, doubt, and difficult choices. Marley's ability to continue creating and performing, despite these obstacles, only enhanced the admiration and respect he inspired worldwide. His struggle became part of the narrative, a testament to determination, faith, and the enduring power of music to carry one through life's toughest moments. The final tour. In 1980, Bob Marley embarked on what would be his last major tour, the Uprising Tour, supporting his album of the same name. This tour was ambitious, covering Europe and the United States, and it showcased Marley at the peak of his performance energy, even as his health subtly began to decline. Fans came out in droves, drawn not only by the music, but by Marley's reputation as a performer who gave everything on stage. Each show was more than entertainment. It was a communal experience. The Uprising Tour included stops in countries like Germany, France, and Switzerland. Marley's performances were electrifying. He commanded the stage with a combination of charisma, precision, and an unshakable sense of rhythm. Songs like Redemption Song, Could You Be Loved, and Coming In From the Cold resonated with audiences and carried messages of hope, struggle, and unity. While Marley had always been a spiritual performer, these shows felt more personal, as though he was speaking directly to each individual in the crowd. Touring at this time required remarkable endurance. Marley was already dealing with the lingering effects of melanoma, yet he maintained an intense schedule. Long flights, late-night shows, and the stress of international travel could have easily forced him to slow down, but Marley persisted. His determination was fueled by a belief that music was bigger than the individual. Every concert became a testament to resilience, a reminder that even in difficult circumstances, art could inspire. Backstage, Marley was known for his calm humor and steady demeanor. Band members recalled his ability to manage logistical chaos with a joke or a wry comment. Even when equipment failed or audiences were rowdy, Marley handled it with grace. This attitude contributed to a sense of camaraderie among the tour crew, who saw him not just as a leader, but as someone who could lighten the mood even during stressful moments. The Uprising Tour also provided glimpses of Marley's reflective side. In interviews and candid moments between shows, he spoke about life, mortality, and the importance of family and community. These reflections were not morbid but thoughtful, revealing a man who understood the fragility of life, yet was committed to spreading a message of positivity. Fans and journalists alike sensed that Marley was aware of his limits, but refused to let them define his legacy. Marley's final concerts demonstrated his extraordinary ability to balance physical exertion with spiritual depth. Audiences could feel the emotion behind each note, the intentionality behind each lyric. Even as his body experienced the toll of illness, Marley's voice remained strong, his guitar work precise, and his presence magnetic. He left audiences with the impression of someone who had poured his heart into every moment, fully aware that each performance was a gift. By the end of the Uprising Tour, it was clear that Marley had created more than a series of concerts. He had built a bridge between cultures, connecting people through music and message. The tour solidified his international legacy, setting the stage for the final chapters of his life and reinforcing the timeless impact of his work. Seeking treatment abroad. As Bob Marley's melanoma progressed, it became clear that his treatment options in Jamaica were limited. Marley needed specialized care that was not readily available at home, so he made the decision to travel abroad. This marked a significant moment in his life, as he confronted both the seriousness of his illness and the reality of navigating medical systems far from home. Marley first sought treatment in the United States. He consulted with doctors in Miami and other cities, exploring surgical options and conventional cancer treatments. The goal was to contain the spread of the disease and maintain as much mobility and strength as possible. These visits were not easy. Traveling while ill required energy, patience, and determination. Marley approached it with the same calm and humor he had displayed on stage, often joking about airport lines or confusing medical paperwork, easing tension for those around him. Germany became another destination in his search for effective treatment. Marley spent time consulting with specialists there, and exploring therapies that combined conventional medicine with supportive care. The focus was not only on survival, but also on quality of life. Marley's Rastafarian faith informed many of his decisions, and he remained conscious of balancing physical intervention with spiritual and holistic practices. This blend of approaches reflected his lifelong philosophy of health and wellness. During this period, Marley's schedule slowed, but his mind remained sharp and creative. Even while managing appointments, hospital visits, and travel logistics, he continued to write music and reflect on life. Band members and family remember him carrying lyric notebooks on planes and in hotel rooms, jotting down ideas and refining songs. The drive to keep producing music, despite the health challenges, showed his dedication to his craft and message. Traveling abroad also allowed Marley to witness different cultures and medical approaches firsthand. He observed the contrast between Jamaican healthcare and more developed systems abroad, gaining perspective on the resources available to those with serious illnesses. At the same time, being away from home emphasized the importance of family and roots. Marley stayed in close contact with his children, spouse, and bandmates, making sure they felt supported even from a distance. Despite the seriousness of his illness, Marley remained remarkably composed. Those close to him noted his serene acceptance and determination to live fully. He was realistic about the disease, but refused to let it dominate his life or define him. Marley continued to focus on music, spiritual reflection, and connection with loved ones, demonstrating resilience that inspired everyone around him. Marley's search for treatment abroad represents more than a medical journey. It highlights his humanity, his vulnerability, and his proactive approach to life's challenges. Traveling for care was a necessity, but it also allowed him moments of introspection, creativity, and personal growth. Even in the face of a serious illness, Marley maintained his identity, humor, and commitment to his music. In the end, these experiences reinforced Marley's belief in the power of hope, resilience, and the human spirit. They shaped his final months, influenced the tone of his later music, and added another layer to the legend of Bob Marley. Personal reflections and family moments. Even while navigating illness and an intense career, Bob Marley made it a priority to spend time with family and close friends. He understood that music was only part of his legacy. The personal connections he nurtured were equally important. During his final years, Marley became more reflective, appreciating moments with his children, spouse, and trusted confidants. Marley had 11 children, many of whom were still very young during this period. Despite his busy schedule and health challenges, he made an effort to stay involved in their lives. Family members remember him as a loving and patient father who could switch from world-renowned musician to ordinary dad in an instant. Stories from those close to him describe him playing games, offering guidance, or simply listening. His interactions were grounded, warm, and deeply human, revealing a side of Marley often overshadowed by his public persona. Time with his spouse, Rita Marley, was equally important. Their bond endured both the pressures of fame and the demands of Marley's health. Rita was not only a partner, but also a support system, helping navigate appointments, travel, and daily care. Marley often expressed gratitude for her steadfast presence, acknowledging that even someone as iconic as him needed reliable, loving companionship. Marley's friends and bandmates also played a role in his reflective period. Conversations with these close allies often turned to life, philosophy, and spirituality. Marley was known for his thoughtful, introspective discussions, which went beyond casual chit-chat. He explored questions about mortality, purpose, and the impact of his music on listeners around the world. These reflections were never heavy or morose. Instead, they conveyed wisdom, calm, and a quiet acceptance of life's unpredictability. The period also saw Marley turning inward creatively. Many songs from his final years reveal contemplative themes, including mortality, hope, and personal growth. Lyrics and melodies reflect not only his struggles, but also his determination to leave something enduring behind. Marley's personal reflections, paired with his music, offer an intimate glimpse into a man balancing public legend with private life. Amid serious illness and demanding travel, Marley maintained humor and humility. Family anecdotes frequently highlight his ability to lighten a room, tell a joke, or gently tease his children. Even as he faced uncertainty, he preserved the qualities that made him relatable and loved. Marley's reflections on life were paired with laughter, demonstrating resilience and perspective. Spirituality also remained central. Marley drew strength from Rastafarian beliefs, using meditation, prayer, and music as tools for grounding and reflection. These practices allowed him to approach life's challenges with grace and clarity, reinforcing the values he wanted to pass to his family. Ultimately, Marley's final years were marked not just by music and fame, but by the quiet, meaningful connections he nurtured. The balance of reflection, family, friendship, and spirituality illustrates the human side of a global icon. These personal moments helped him navigate illness, reinforced his priorities, and enriched the legacy he left for the world. The final days in Miami. In the final months of his life, Bob Marley's health had noticeably declined. By 1980 and early 1981, the melanoma had spread, and he required specialized care that brought him to Miami, Florida. He was admitted to Cedars of Lebanon Hospital, a facility equipped to handle his condition. Despite the seriousness of his illness, Marley remained calm and composed, a trait that those close to him say defined his last days. During this time, family members were by his side, providing comfort and support. Marley's wife Rita and several of his children stayed close, ensuring he never felt alone. Friends, bandmates, and spiritual advisors also visited, creating an environment of love and solidarity. Marley was known to engage in conversations about life, music, and faith, often emphasizing gratitude and peace even in the face of uncertainty. Marley's demeanor during these days reflected the deep spiritual grounding he had cultivated throughout his life. He drew strength from Rastafarian beliefs, meditation, and prayer, maintaining clarity and composure. Staff members at the hospital remarked on his quiet resilience, describing him as both dignified and warm, someone who could inspire calm simply through his presence. Visitors recount that Marley still maintained his sense of humor. He joked lightly with nurses and staff, a habit that endeared him to everyone around. Even in a hospital bed, Marley retained the charisma that had defined him on stage. These moments, simple yet profound, highlighted the human side of an icon whose life was often viewed through the lens of fame and legend. Despite his declining condition, Marley's mind remained active. He reflected on his life, the people he loved, and the music he had created. These reflections often took the form of conversations with family and close friends, where he shared advice, guidance, and personal philosophies. Marley's focus on gratitude and connection provided comfort not only to him, but to those around him, creating a calm, loving environment during a difficult time. Medical decisions were complex. Marley had to weigh the benefits of continued treatment against the strain it placed on his body. He was pragmatic about his condition, yet he refused to let fear dominate his final days. While undergoing care, he also prepared emotionally for the possibility of death, demonstrating acceptance and peace that many found inspiring. Marley passed away on May 11, 1981. The news shocked the world, but for those who had been close to him in his final days, the experience was marked by dignity, love, and reflection. His passing was mourned globally, but the stories from his Miami stay reveal a quieter, human side of the legendary musician. Marley's last days were not defined solely by illness, but by the connections he maintained, the humor he retained, and the grace with which he faced the end of life. In Miami, Bob Marley's final moments reinforced the legacy he left behind, a combination of extraordinary talent, deep humanity, and unwavering spiritual strength. The music lives on, but so does the story of the man, his struggles, and the compassion and dignity with which he faced his final chapter. Legacy and lasting impact. Bob Marley's legacy continues to shape music, culture, and global consciousness in ways that still feel powerful today. Even though he passed in 1981, his influence has only grown. When you look at how his songs spread across generations, you see how his message of unity and courage became a guide for people searching for meanings and strength. Marley had a gift for turning struggle into art, and that gift is a big reason why his legacy refuses to fade. His music remains a major force. Songs like One Love and Redemption. Song are still heard at concerts, family gatherings, and community events around the world. Each track carries a mix of hope and honesty that speaks to people across different cultures. Marley did not rely on complicated ideas. He focused on truth, connection, and purpose. That is why his music feels timeless. His messages continue to fit the moment, no matter what year it is. Marley also opened the door for reggae to reach global audiences. Before him, reggae was mostly known inside Jamaica. After him, reggae became a worldwide movement. Artists from many places cite Marley as the reason they started making music. His influence helped reggae become a respected genre instead of something ignored by the mainstream. Without Marley, many artists today might never have found their voice or their audience. His legacy also reaches into social justice. Marley spoke openly about unity, peace, and standing up for what you believe in. People still use his lyrics as reminders to stay focused on fairness and compassion. Protesters around the world play his songs when they gather. Teachers use his words in classrooms. Even leaders quote him when they try to inspire courage. Marley's music is not just entertainment. It is a form of guidance that helps people stay strong when life gets heavy. Another part of Marley's legacy comes from his personal values. He believed in spiritual growth, family, and treating others with kindness. People who were close to him say that he stayed humble even as his fame grew. That humility shaped how fans remember him. Marley represented authenticity. He did not pretend to be perfect, and he did not hide his flaws. That honesty helped people connect with him, not just as a singer, but as a person. Marley's family also continues his work. His children and grandchildren contribute to music, business, and philanthropy. They keep his ideas alive through concerts, foundations, and community projects. This ongoing influence shows that Marley's legacy is not frozen in the past. It is still growing and adapting. Every new generation finds something in his message that speaks to them. Tourism in Jamaica is another part of his legacy. Fans visit his home, the museum built in his honor, and the places that shaped his story. These sites give people a closer look at his life and help them understand how much he meant to Jamaica. The country continues to celebrate him as a national hero and cultural icon. Bob Marley's impact stretches far past his final days. His music, values, and influence continue to guide people across the globe. He used his voice to inspire strength, empathy, and unity. Many musicians come and go, but Marley created something that still feels alive. His legacy remains a reminder of what one person can do when they lead with courage and heart. Thanks for spending time with this look into the final days of Bob Marley. His life was full of music, courage, and purpose, and his influence is still felt everywhere. If you learned something new or felt a little closer to the man behind the legend, go ahead and hit like and share your thoughts in the comments. You never know who might see it and start their own search into his story. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss more videos on the people who shaped music and culture. I'll see you in the next one.